Welcome to Taz Talk, ladies and gentlemen. Today is September the 24th, 2025. We're going to be talking about NXT because, ladies and gentlemen, this was an interesting NXT. We have multiple TNA stars showed up. I have a list of stars that was here on TNA. Every single segment we saw TNA stars walking around. Even when they start the show, when Trick Williams and Oval Family trying to come to the arena, we got Moose and Eric Young in behind Mr. Trick Williams when he's trying to get to the arena. And then we got Oval Family trying to get to the arena. And we got Matt Cardona behind Oba Femi. I'm not going to tell you guys all the guys until we get to the end of the show. I told you 3 guys, but I will tell you guys more. And I am happy. I'm surprised of some of these wrestlers. There's some former WWE guys that been in WWE and was working for NXT. And now they're trying to go against NXT. And there's new guys that never showed up in the WWE ring, and they showed up in WWE this time. But ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about, we have a face-off between JC Jane and Lola Bice. They had a lot to say. A lot to say, ladies and gentlemen, and to talk trash to each other. JC Jane told Paul Hanley and Miss Jasmine Nix, I could do this by myself. I could handle Lola Bice by myself. And remember, Lola is doing this all for her family. Trying to be proud. Make her family be proud of her of winning a championship. Because I guess they did a lot of sacrifice to make this happen for Lola Bice. Letting her be a wrestler. And all that stuff. But JC Jane says, that's not going to happen at No Mercy. You're going to be a failure. You're going to be your family's failure after No Mercy. And Lola got angry and knocks her out with a back fist. Well, let's get to the matches, ladies and gentlemen. We have a lights out match. Miles Bourne versus Lexis King. Lexis King was doing his entrance, and then Miles Bourne was behind him. And I guess there was a light switch. Who puts a light switch on the entranceway? And then he turns off the lights with the light switch and attacks Lexis King. And all the lights went out. Finally, they put some spotlights on there. But it was a pretty decent match. They tried everything they could. But the winner of that match was Miles Bourne. He did like a zigzag into a table onto Lexis King, getting the win. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Ethan Page came out and he wants to celebrate his win against Tyler Breeze last week at NXT's Homecoming. But he says we have a guy here, a special guest, Triple A's Latin American champion, Dr. Wanger. And he says, I will invite you to No Mercy, where I beat Tavian Heights for the North American title. And it looks like Dr. Wanger wants to fight right now. So Ethan Page says, give me a referee, we're going to fight right now. And we did. And Dr. Wanger won this match in seconds after doing an ankle lock onto Ethan Page. Dr. Wanger wins the match. He didn't win the title, but he did win the match. And Dr. Wanger unmasked himself. And it was Tavian Heights. We have the Speed Championship No One Contendership Tournament. Whoever wins this match will become No One Contender to the NXT, the WWE's Speed Championship. They did not call it NXT yet. It's WWE Speed Championship still. We have Lanny Reid versus Candice LeRae. Candice was about to win this match, but she got a knockout knee into her face, and Reid gets the win. And now it's going to be Sol Ruca versus Laney Reid for the championship at No Mercy. We had Jordan Grace versus Ariana Grace. To find out which Grace is a better Grace, we have Grace versus Grace. And the winner of that match was Jordan Grace, of course. Jordan Grace gets the win. And out of nowhere, Stacks comes out and checks on Grace. Ariana Grace, not Jordan Grace. And then Blake Moreau comes out with a trash can and takes out a candlestick out of the trash can. And Jordan Grace grabs a chair. And so we have a sword fight and a shield happening. And then the referee and security try to break them up. And then Stevie Turner and Robert Stone comes out because Ava's not here. So Ava put Stevie Turner and Stone on be in charge of NXT this week. And they did that. They made a match for No Mercy. At No Mercy, it will be Blake Moreau versus Jordan Grace in a weaponized steel cage match. Well, Stevie Turner talked about the weapon match. And then Stone wants to make it bigger, and he made it a steel cage. So it's going to be a weaponized steel cage match. But Stone and Stevie Turner did give a heads up to Ava. There's a bunch of TNA guys, stars, wrestlers, whatever you want to call them, is walking around NXT. Ava didn't hear all that, but Ava trusts Stone and Stevie Turner that they could handle it. I'll tell you guys more about that at the main event. But, ladies and gentlemen, everybody likes to say Joe Hendry because he appears. Darkseid has a problem with Chase U. They made their own problem. And these race car driver guys comes out and they're happy to be there and likes to say Joe Hendry's name. They will always want to do it. Joe Hendry showed up in a race car gear, took off his helmet, and there he is. And he issued a challenge to Darkseid to a 6-man tag team match. It will be Chase U and Joe Hendry versus Darkseid. Pretty decent match, but the winner of that match was Darkseid. Poor guys. Darkseid gets the win. We have the main events for both NXT and TNA World Championships. Oba Femi versus Trick Williams, and all over everybody that's sitting in the audience. We got TNA stars sitting in the audience. We got Eric Young, Steve Macklin, Moosey Boosie. We got some women in there, the Knockouts. We got a whole bunch of people. And then Mike Santana jumps over the barricade and he wants to be on commentary. But the winner of that match was Trick Williams. No, he did not win both titles because he wants to start a fight with Mike Santana. And then a big brawl happened. We got TNA stars coming over the barricade, start beating up NXT. Whole bunch of NXT stars come in and start beating each TNA guys. We have a warfare between NXT and TNA stars. Oh man, it was crazy. And then at the end, we saw Ricky Sayings. While all this brawling happens, Ricky Sayings walks to the NXT title, grabs it, but Oba Femi crawls and grabs his title. And everybody was still brawling. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the names that I saw. These are the people I saw during this whole show of TNA stars. We have Matt Cardona, Eric Young, Moose, Zaya Brookside, Zaya Lee, or Lee Yang Lee, or Angel Warriors as a tag team. Joe Hendry, I don't know if he's actually here because of the TNA thing. He helped NXT stars. He wasn't there helping TNA beat up NXT stars. So I don't know what is Joe Hendry doing, but he is a TNA guy, and he was shown. Zachary Wentz, Cedric Alexander, Mance Warner and Steph D. Lander, Steve Macklin, Victoria Crawford, Alicia Fox made a return to WWE as Victoria Crawford, Mike Santana, the Iconics, I know they have a different name, Casey and Jesse, Heather from England's brand, and Frankie Kazarian. That's a lot of names. But there's one guy I wish I was there. Leon Slater, I wish he was there. Ladies and gentlemen, I can't wait to watch TNA this week. Because we all know NXT is going to do the same thing to TNA. It's going to be warfare between these two companies. And we're going to find out which company is better. TNA or NXT. I have this YouTube video up saying both segments TNA invades NXT during Obafemi versus Drake Williams. It's weird, man. It's a weird seeing. And ladies and gentlemen, Matt Cardona got a big pop when he showed up because he was in the audience with everybody else. There's some people that was still walking and still going to the audience. But there was when the match started, there was some people already there. But during the match, some TNA stars still coming to the inside the arena or going to the bleachers. And Matt Cardona, when people saw him, people went nuts. Now the question is, are we going to see NXT versus TNA maybe in a War Games match? Or will we see a Survivor Series look like we had Raw versus SmackDown? We had Raw champions versus SmackDown champions. Sometimes we had Raw factions versus SmackDown factions, like New Day versus The Shield. Are we going to have that type of thing, or a War Games thing? I'm hoping we get a Survivor Series looking thing, or a WWF versus WCW and ECW way. Remember when they had that pay-per-view called Invasion? And they had WWF guys versus WCW or ECW, or together in a tag team match. I want to see that. I don't care if it's a Worlds Collide or a PLE that is special for this. I want to see it. But they had to make it hype up. They had to make a story of it. TNA invades NXT. I think NXT is going to invade TNA. I know WWF did not do the same thing with WCW and ECW shows when they did Invasion, because WCW and ECW already got taken over. TNA wasn't taken over, so I'm hoping we get to see NXT stars show up on TNA. So we need to keep our eyes open and see if there's any guys from NXT attacks or walks around like TNA guys did. I can't wait for it. I can't wait for this big thing. It's going to be big. This is what people wanted. I wanted this too. Imagine we get a TNA and AAA invasion against WWE. But AAA has a partnership with NXT, Raw, and SmackDown. TNA looks like they only have partnership with NXT. There's some TNA guys showed up in main roster shows like Joe Hendry on WrestleMania, the Royal Rumble. He showed up on there. But you don't see a lot of TNA stars showing up on the main roster. Like, we never see Matt Cardona show up on main roster. He shows up on TNA. He shows up on NXT, I meant. So, yeah, I don't think that's that. So, I don't think we're going to get a AAA added to this invasion. I think it's just TNA versus NXT. I don't think no AAA is going to be in it. I know Ethan Page has this problem with a AAA guy, but I don't see an invasion from AAA. I can't really tell you who showed up from NXT, because everybody runs in the ring and start beating up people. But Ricky Sayers and Obafemi didn't want to help. So, But I think everybody want to beat up Trick Williams. Because Trick Williams is the TNA World Championship champion. That's crazy. But ladies and gentlemen, yeah, I'm enjoying my game now. I got everything fixed. I am doing my WrestleMania, Road to WrestleMania, and Stand and Deliver for NXT. So yeah, I'm happy for that. That is happening. There's some people I did miss to download. Like, I forgot Matt Cardona. How do you forget Matt Cardona, Tyler? I was thinking of downloading Dark States. Trying to get some current NXT stars in my NXT. Not a whole bunch of TNA guys. I got a lot of TNA guys in there. But yeah, I'm trying to do that. But I think we're going to have a great WrestleMania Universe mode and Stand and Deliver. I think we had some great, cool matches to have. I told you guys the rivalries that we have. If you want to know the extra matches I have for WrestleMania, we got, I told you about Becky Lynch, CM Punk match, Cody Rhodes. So we will have Nia Jax versus Tiffany Stratton versus AJ Lee for the Women's Championship from SmackDown. And then we have the WWE Tag Team titles. It would be another triple threat match. Solo Sikoa and Jeff Cobb, or JC Mateo. They are my WWE Tag Team Champions. My Women's Champion is Tiffany Stratton. My Tag Team Champions, they will be versing the Usos, the reunited Usos. My first time I reunited them. And versus the OC. They won their match at a Saturday Night's Main Event, a Fatal 4-Way match, to become the number one contenders. What else do we have? AOP versus New Day for the World Tag Team titles. Is it the biggest match I have? No, not really, but yeah, that's okay. We got Tegan Nox and Indy Hartwell. They are my Tag Team Champions. Will defend their Women's Tag Team titles in a Fatal 4-Way match against one Raw Tag Team, two Raw Tag Teams. Because Tegan and Indy Hartwell is on SmackDown. And there's going to be one tag team in SmackDown is going to qualify to be in this match. So we got 3 tag teams already. We had Tegan Nox and Indy Hartwell will be facing Kaden Carter and Katana Chance versus Alba Fyre and Isla Dawn. And then we got the Women's Intercontinental Championship, Dakota Kai versus Laura Valkyria for the Intercontinental title. Crazy, isn't it? And for Stand and Deliver, I don't have a lot on Stand and Deliver. Stand and Deliver, we got the NXT's Women's North American title on the line. Lola Buys versus Jada Parker. That's going to be an interesting match. I had Jada Parker win the NXT North American title once, and now she gets another shot of the title. So yeah, I can't wait to play my game and get that done. And we got Old School happening. I'm not going back to WrestleMania for that because I don't know any of the matches that are happening in that WrestleMania. I don't think I have that WrestleMania. Do I have that WrestleMania? No, I think I deleted that WrestleMania. I think I had the card for that WrestleMania. Yeah, I deleted it. So we're not going back to WrestleMania for that show, for that universe mode. We're going to start the whole calendar all over again. So yeah, we're going to do King of the Ring. Yeah. What else we have? I think that's it. Oh yeah, Jasmine Nix got attacked, but JC Jane and Paula Hanley didn't care. Javon Evans was doing his backstage interview, and we just heard noise. And the referees was asking for medics. Jasmine Nix has got knocked out. We don't know who was wrong. But if you guys enjoyed this video, hit the like button, leave a comment below, hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell. I will see you guys tomorrow for AEW results. We heard that Chris Statlander will defend her title against Mina. I don't know why she has to defend it right away when she could have a celebration. But that's all I'm going to say. Tell us, see you guys tomorrow. Bye!